My name is Chaz, and welcome to the first What If that I am truly making. So, what if Zuko was that time I got reincarnated as a slime, black, and Grayman, him, and him. So, let's begin with the him being born. Here, him being born. So he was born with these powers that allows him to do what he is like a high end or highest person that like passes All Might, Endeavor, every pro hero. Heck, even just like he passes. Hold on. Sorry. He passes him. So when he was born, when Zuko was born, is this thing still on? Okay. When he was born, he was so kind-hearted that he. Let me remind you. When he was 3 years old, his power kicked in. After he was born, he was born with like his like puppeteer thing and his like like long fingernail looking things and that long arm, and he can be forced to be reckoned with. And I'm also in this what if I'm also giving him self-revival as a power. So basically he can and be so powerful that no one could sustain his own wrath if he got mad. Occasionally he does get mad. Occasionally. So then when at age of 4, Inko took him to a doctor's and turns out he was quirkless. Yes? So like he says, sorry mom, your son is quirkless. And then of course when she heard that, she broke down tears of sobbing. And so did Zuko, but little did they know that, little did they know that Zuko has a power of basically control puppets and self-regeneration. Sorry. Not sneezes. But he also has power of infinity too. It's his powers, not his quirk, but his powers. So basically, he also... So, let's keep moving on before... because my video got way too long and ends up... Okay? So, then... when Inko did... by basically... put him on the side of a road. Like, kick him to a curve. Basically. And so he is too powerful for any average human to do it. So he keeps his cool and like goes to the abandoned apartment buildings. And he's survived in 15 or until he got to 15. And let me remind you, he can never die. He can never age properly. Or never age at all. And he also has like all those powers. Like basically he's OP as everybody. Alright? So, but he still got accepted to UA. So he went to UA. And he passed the written part, but during the robot part, he used this thing called sticky ultimate threads. Yes, I'm giving him also removes sticky threads. Or sticky steel threads. And plus, he was born as a kind soul that, as I'm looking at him, he's more corrupted. Not him, but he was born as a kind soul, and I know that he looks like the girl from that or not goblins. I almost said goblins, but he kind of looks like a derpy version of Kratos. Demonetized. So, when he killed basically every 1-pointers, 2-pointers, 3-pointers, And he had those wings, but instead of like chopped off, he actually had like full, beautiful, like white wings versions or white versions of those, but when he saw the 0 pointer, he was urged to, like, this is what he was itching. Like, he's trying to itch his head to, like, trying to say, this 0 pointer needs to die. As he sees a innocent girl who called Ochako. And yes, I'm keeping it similar to canon, but not too much. So the Ochako, under Rebel, so she got stuck. And the friend of hers, like Momo, was trying to get her out of the Rebel, but it was gonna be too late for them. But he transformed his hand, like his entire arm, into the one that you see, into that. And took out, or he basically chopped the robot's head off and made it explode. As he picked up that rebel with just one hand and threw it across into the other buildings. Okay. Let me remind you. He has such a smooth talker that he could smooth talk through anything. So basically, he got more points than, or he broke the entire school's record. So then I'm skipping the quirk assessment test and heroes versus villains, because we already know who's gonna win those too. Because it was him and he threw a ball into, like, all the way across the entire galaxy. And he battled against Todoroki, and Todoroki lost and he won. But lucky for him, he did not, like, die from it. So the USJ, at the USJ thing went a little bit differently compared to canon. And then Zuko was, I'll just use this one, so instead of going back and forth to so Zuko, well, was like, huh, interesting. As he looks at 13, or after he raises his hand, and 13 asked him, what? As he says, is there any real villains later, huh? That I can beat up? 13's like, no, it's gonna be, it's work on our survival, not combat. So, just making sure. Okay? So he had this two emotions going on. I keep doing that. He had was like scaring everybody, and he also had calmness and like all that stuff. So basically, he always has like voodoo dolls with him at all times. So after they walked in and they got ambushed, and here's or of course Zuko says, that's what I was talking about. Oh, okay. Don't worry. Okay. So the 13 looks at him like, are you a traitor or something? As he says, no, I'm not. I'm just being myself. No, I could sense these things. As 13, so Zuko, got like punched really hard by the Nomu, because the Nomu came out of nowhere and attacked just Zuko, as he like barfing up blood. Huh? You're kind of tough fella, aren't you? But arcane thread feathers, as he like wraps the Nomu around and starts smacking him around and throwing him back at Shiraki-san. Threw him at the Shiraki-san, and this is the different universe kind, where he is so powerful, no one could get any hits off of him. Like, Shiraki-san was unable to get his quirk on him. Oh, that reminds me. He also has... Or wait, hold on. He also has quirk jammer. It allows him to jam other quirks, except for his power. So, basically, they were upset. All the So, it was only in his presence. So basically, Momo got out of his presence and she used her quirk. Human Pikachu was doing the same thing. And then all that. Plus, he took care of the Nomu. He just straight up killed this stupid brainwashed dude. That guy. So, he was pretty powerful. So, I'm skipping the sports festival. And going to the camp park thing. But before the sports festival, they had a new transfer student called Demon Lord Naga. Or Naga. So, she and Zuko, or she notices Zuko that she, of course, when they were at 3 years old, or 5 years old, she's also been abandoned by her parents. And so when she saw him, she immediately became best friends with him. And then now at the sports festival, then training arc, or I'm skipping that because against a hero killer stain, Zuko used the voodoo doll to basically get nailed to the wall. And then he brought in hero killer stain, and everybody's like, this so-called Lord of Mysteries, or I was gonna call it the Man of Mystery, but Demon Lord Zuko, has brought in, or Lord of Mysteries, or Mystery Lord. So, when she saw who it was, she immediately panicked because she knew who he was. So, basically, He he was wearing that costume thing. It's not his super costume. I was gonna put him in like that costume so that suits his personality better. But so when Dobby saw the news on TV, he says, I know that kid. He's pretty tough for. Of course, he was working with League of Villains, and he said that. As they're like, yeah. So then, of course, Ingo had a child before. Like right after there, she kicked the Zuko to the curve. So her daughter is Zumi, and she wasn't quirkless. She had a power, or she had the same quirks as her mother, her father, on her. So then that happens. I'm skipping the camp arc thing because actually it went totally different. Zuko says, well, after all, he is said to Musclair, then, are you the one that killed his parents? As he said, yeah, so what? As he straight up killed him, like, brutally. Or he, after, or before he did that, he said, Coda, can you look away for a minute? As he said, sure. As he literally cuts him down to size. Or picture like his head and just like got cleaned off. He's basically got sliced up. So they, because Shiraki-san now knows that Zuko's the most powerful one, strongest one. So he basically says, well, let's grab him, bring him to our side. So they at this point, where they captured Zuko, man, now it's all for one's thing fight. So all for one against All Might, and All Might lost. But luck would have it, Zuko used his ultimate power that he holds back. Like he says, "You're gonna die as soon as he like became like so overpowered. Sorry, he became so overpowered that, of course, all for one got told in by the doctor says, be very careful with Zuku. If you pick him, it will only end your, because not making any death threats, but he too powerful. So basically, his big monstrous form that he like turned into like a Super Saiyan. But he has like those wings, and he also, his hair turned black, and his jacket turns black, and basically, imagine all that white, and his clothes became red and black. Like his jacket and his hair became black, and his shirt and his pants became red. He evolved into the ultimate creature known as Lord of the Demons, or Demon Lord, basically. Then he also evolved into, I was gonna say Orc Disaster, but then I was like, no, that's the slime movie. So he basically became like a big monsterish thing, as All for One was gonna do a final punch thing onto All Might, but he ends up getting punched 100 times more powerful than his. So basically sending All for One flying into the destructive side, as Zuku became the living, breathing, disaster. Like his power can't be as Inko at her house. She saw like what Zuku did. Like she now knows that her son is not quirkless, but too powerful. So basically, All for One basically got wiped out by, or he got wiped out. Like even his existence got wiped out. And Zuku grabbed All for One's soul, and he even ate it. And that's pretty powerful. So the next day, after that happened, Inko went to UA. She, of course, I almost said Zumi on the pink-haired girl, that one. So Zumi says, well, why are you here, Mom? Oh, I'm just seeing one of your friends. In particular, Zuko Midoriya, as, he's in my class. I'm in class 1A. So basically, when he showed up, he had a more calm look. Like, he had more like, as Inko, told Zuko that she wants him back. As he says, okay. And so Zumi, he heard that, or of course, she was in the present of it. So she says, wait, I had a brother the entire time? Or he's my brother? That's cool. As Zuko says, yeah, I'm your brother. Or oldest brother. Okay? As Class 1A, he heard that, and of course, only 2 people that really knew that there's only 2 people that really knew that, or their hearts can't even take on their hearts thing. It was Momo and Ochako. So it's basically, it's like a death match for them. Like, they're trying to see who's gonna take Zuko as their husband. Because they have seen how much power he has. And heck, Tinya was his friend because he tells him that you're pretty strong, Zuko. Yeah. So then I'm skipping the quirk array or thing, quirk race thing, or whatever that's called, because Class 1A crushed everybody's. And so, but Mr. Aizawa, he got, like, he tried to erase Zuko's quirk, but it didn't activate on him. Why is that? As he turns around I'm being honest with you. I have this power called Quirk Jammer. You're in my presence, so okay. So the then overhaul thing, like, So overhaul was like is a similar to, in canon, but Zuko, as a man with all the planes, he had his voodoo dolls transform into like the clowns or into ninjas, and one of them's called Foot Clan. And so all of his, they all, so he was like drinking soda thing, and he says, as he used his power, or sticky thread, as he says, quark erasing bullets. They're really common now in the underworld. As they see his aura, as he turns to the others and says, well, there's two things that make, or one thing that makes these bullets. Overhaul by using this little girl called Aries, as he flings the picture over, and she has no criminal records, and she's just a child. We can put her down the right path. As he said that, and as he sorry. So he ends up becoming a So he says, anyone? So let's move on. As everyone agrees, like, yeah. And so we have these targets things. These 5 areas. Or 6 areas. Or, yeah. So he says, no need to trouble yourself. I already sent my troops out. As Zuko looked at Sir Night Eyes, and so far there's nothing in the 4 or all, or let's say there's 6 bases, but there's all 5 of them. So one of them popped out of nowhere. Easy. This is one of my men called footmen. Anything good? Footmen? Well, sir, we haven't found anything And all 5 of them. And now, your next test or quest, go see if where they're keeping Aries in that area, okay? And make sure she comes out alive. If anyone tries to hurt her, I'll make it your job to make sure that they don't exist. Okay? Yes, sir. And it was like, it's just like similar to the slime movie. It's, and the name, you probably guess what these characters are from. If not, I'll just tell you right out here, right now. They are from that time I got reincarnated as slime. And basically, it's where a main character, Rimuru, went out on the quest and did that. So basically, all that stuff. So I believe season 2 and part 2 will come out soon. So, and the Foot Clan of Zuku's has, he looks chubby, but he is too powerful. The Foot Clan soldier of his, and everybody like looked at him like, huh, how did you know where to look? Well, so and then they all like they pass, huh? And so Overhaul showed up and became the big monster, and Maline was there. Her and Zuko, who were best friends. Like they both bro fist each other's. And then he even like they're so synchronized that no one can basically keep up. Because plus Zumi, he was a little bit shocked that her brother can link with someone. So, because their power level is off the charts. Basically, forget All Might. Forget All for One. Forget all the students, pros, and villains. Forget it all. Those two are the two powerful ones. And so, and her parents, that that they abandoned her for, they both regret it. And so they basically won against Overhaul. And then, and for the ship thing, let's say it was actually two people, Momo and Ochako, actually got married to Zuko. It was like a double date thing. So the Jiro, Invisible Girl, or so Jiro got married to Denki. Visible Girl got married to the Tails guy, and me Maya got married to Rock guy. Frog Girl, who got married to Dark Shadow, who, and basically all that stuff. Plus Toga, huh? Look, I forgot to mention Toga was in class 1A, and she actually saw Zuko as a. So it was now a three-way battle thing, fighting over Zuko. So, but they all agree that. So all three of them got married to Zuko, and was a kid that, or had two kids, two boys, one girl. So two boys was one that looks like their father, him, and the other looked like the darker version, and the other was a girl, and she looked like her. So they were. It's a happy ending. So, and Zuko was declared as #1 hero. And he was a legendary hero. And then all that stuff. So, and before we go, I made. Hold on, I'm looking. So, I made this card called Good Guess. It's a unique, like, card. It's compared to Try and Good or Tie and Good or Try and Good, whatever that's called. That trap card. This card is trying to make it a evolved form of it. So, if I'll say this real quick, if your opponent activates a card effect, and you can activate this card from your field or hand to allow your opponent must guess 2 cards from your deck without looking into it. And if they guessed right, you can discard 2 cards, then you pick from your deck to the grave, and your opponent gains 4,000 life points for each card from your opponent from your graveyard by this effect. if this card is, if they guess wrong, you add 2 cards from your choosing from your deck to your hand. Then your opponent loses 4,000 life points, and then both players draw 4 cards from the top of their deck. Their own deck. You can only use this effect for once per turn. If this card is in your graveyard and your opponent's monster declares an attack on your life points, you can banish this card from your graveyard to negate that card effect and end the turn. It meant to say like attack, but so have fun. And the one that like I used, this one, I did pretty good on it. I drew it all out. And the Demon Lord Malign had a power to, or basically, I'm putting her in like almost every video, so be warned. Just be warned. And I could make, probably during Monday, I'll probably make a video way later with her in it. And did you like that ship thing? Tell me in the comments below of how well did I do on this what if. Okay? So I was gonna make, I'll tell you right now, what would the next what if would be? Like, for you guys. I'm all ears. So, I could make Zuko become Momo's brother, or Jiro's brother, or I already did the, like, what if Deku was his Musclear and Stars and Stripes' brothers. So, and, oh, okay. So, or, some people are probably gonna ask me about use like all for one, and as like what if Deku was or a brother to all for one, in my own words, okay? Or do whatever you guys decide, okay? But tell me in the comments. I can read them. So, have fun. Don't die.